All right. So let's see. Let's get our stuff over here so I can be in front of that and go with this. So it is Friday, which means it's time for a little bit of a finished object Friday, or in this case, a finished project task Friday. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Aradia Noir. I'm your resident witch and creatrix over to Aradia's Hand and Danae's Divine, where I create myth, magic, and meaning for your everyday life through art, intuition, and energy work. And on Fridays, when I finish something, I like to drop in and share that with you. So the other thing, though, I like to do with my finished object Fridays is I like to do a little bit of a review. And this review is centered around the intentions that I placed on Monday and then checked in on Wednesday. And the whole purpose really is it's kind of like an accountability. You know, if I don't do anything, if I don't set any intentions, that I have nothing to say on Monday, right? If I don't set any intentions, then I have nothing to check in on Wednesday. And if I don't set any intentions, then I have nothing to say on Friday. And so those are kind of defaults in addition to the regular posts. So Monday, I like to do Monday motivation, and the honest truth is I'm not always motivated. In fact, I'm not motivated a lot of the time, which is just a product of having depression. It's really hard to be motivated and to have the will or the energy or the fortitude to do anything, even stuff that you really want to do, which is kind of part of the definition of depression, is a loss of interest in things that you've previously wanted to do. And on Wednesday, I like to do a little work in progress. And, you know, granted, I'm always working on something. Like, can you stop? Stop it. Nobody wants to talk to you. That's Mr. Cat. I didn't realize I was going to have a co-host for this. But apparently I am. Fine. Fine. Come here, bud. So, shit. Wednesday. Okay, there we go. Found it. Found it. Yeah, for those of you who are new, who have not been tuning into my channel, or maybe this is just your first video, I have dissociative episodes quite frequently. And I basically, to put it politely, I call it getting lost. And it is in which I just completely forget what I was doing, and to any degree of anything. Sometimes it's completely in all ways, and sometimes it's just I lose thoughts because they're just gone all of a sudden. Will you stop? So that's the thing. And they tend to happen at night more often. And they tend to happen when I'm alone more often. Which is not to say they don't happen when I'm not around people, because they definitely do. As I have found out the hard way, if you will. So, you know that's not your planner, right? He disagrees. He's very sure that it belongs to him. Isn't that right? With your chewy face. Huh? You weirdo? Little monster. So I try to do work in progress Wednesday, and like I said, I'm always working on something. I've always got something in progress. I'm not necessarily always actively working on stuff. Like I have Mount Craftmore, which is what I call I need you to go. The veritable, literal pile of unfinished art projects. That is unfinished for all kinds of reasons. Some of it is troubleshooting. Some of it is I needed more supplies. Some of it is I had something worked out to a point and hadn't worked out more. Just all kinds of reasons. And on Friday, of course, we like to do Finished Object Friday. So I added the second part of intention, check-in, and review, because sometimes I don't have one of those things, but I do have the other. And I definitely want to show up here on a regular basis, and that's really the goal. So, yeah. But, yeah. And at the point of this recording, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty sure I didn't do Wednesday's video yet. So that's gonna be interesting, doing things backwards. I don't know that I did Mondays, I'm gonna be honest with you. So if you see it back posted, that's why. And just, you know, deal with it. Better late than never. Sort of, maybe. I don't know that that's actually accurate, really. So, shoes off, friends. Shoes off. It happened again. Shit. Hooray! God, really? One of these days, I'm gonna get like a fancy editing program, and just what I'm gonna do is every time this happens, I'm just gonna put like letters on the screen, like the people do, the people with the nice editing programs. Yeah, and it's gonna be my way of making fun of myself and trying to find the humor in something that's quite honestly not funny. Not for me. Not when it's happening. Anywho, so yeah. So, without further ado and distraction, this is what I set forth. So, I'm just gonna run down everything, and as I go through everything, I'm gonna tell you where we are with it and everything like that, and then wrap it up, and then hopefully put it up and stuff and things. So, first things first, getting my planner up to date was something I've been meaning to do. So, when I say getting my planner up to date, I did that, but I also did something else, and it was like a two-prong kind of thing. Getting my planner up to date, what I mean by that is I have this running list of just things that, okay, this is due today, I've got to do this, and then there's everything that's overdue, of which there is a lot. Mostly because I have no concept of time, which I'm beginning to realize that some of that is the dissociation. It's really hard for me to like be cognizant of time, period. And so that's like an added dimension of difficulty in like doing things, right? Because like time a lot of times passes without my notice. And, you know, then there's the normal level of kind of zoning out and disassociation, which most people do, where, can you not? No, he can't not. But he's gonna not. How about that? But there's the, shit, there it goes again. Damn it. I used to refer to this as my train of thought went into a tunnel and just went black. So we're all lost. I'm like, what? Sorry, I had to corral the beasties. They were becoming unruly. The natives are restless. So, still lost. Walnuts. Planner. Okay, I saw a word that got my attention. So, basically, I have this giant ass list, and a lot of people have giant ass lists, but I like to make lists and then lose them. And of course, they're so big, and just there's so much going on that I can't possibly remember everything that's on them, first of all. And then I also have this really bad habit of treating a project like a task. And basically that means, you know, when you look at a project, has several steps. So it's lots of parts. It may have subparts. You know, each of these steps may have multiple steps in them. And the long and short of it is, it's just really involved. It's a lot going on. And that's important because, you know, if you expect to get a project done in a short period of time, that's just not realistic. There's lots of steps. Whereas expecting a singular task to get done in a shorter amount of time is reasonable. So there's that. I think I'm gonna buy a book or start reading a book tonight. Maybe that's what I'll do all weekend. Just fuck working, and I'm just gonna read books all weekend. That's not gonna happen. It would be nice though. Yeah, y'all know I've had a really rough October, which actually I got an announcement that I've got to make. Gosh, I gotta figure that one out. That's gonna be fun. Maybe I will. I don't know if I want to make a video about it, I gotta be honest with you. I already had a talk with some close humans to me, and I've had a talk with two very close to me biologically and just like emotional connection, but I haven't made like a public announcement, and that's just because people are assholes, basically. Yeah, basically. This might be the one post that I put up this month that is not for public consumption. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So I kept just having to migrate all these tasks over and over again, which, by the way, took up most of the day, pretty much all of my work day. I've got 2 segments of 3 hours, and of those 3 hours, 2 hours are actually dedicated to working on a project or a task or something like that. The other hour is dedicated to doing administrative stuff with social media and email and stuff like that, and kind of checking in and catching up on stuff like that. So it's only 2 hours, which means it's a total of 4 hours. And let me tell you, 4 hours goes by really quickly, and you don't, and in the terms of 2 hours, there's not a whole lot you can get done in 2 hours. Like, really. I mean, you can do a decent amount of stuff, sure, but if you're treating a project like a task, then yeah. So that's like a whole thing. My phone is so confused right now. Not enough oxygen to my brain. That's what I'm going to blame these yawns on. It's not really because I'm tired. Unless we're talking in like a metaphorical sense, like, am I tired of life and just everything? Yes, I'm exhausted. Mentally exhausted with the shit that I have gone through lately. But whatever. So, walnuts. The other part of getting my planner up to date is, so this was one of the goals that I, by the way, have failed on this shit all year long. And that's, oh god, let's not kick the desk. A big part of that is because, whoa, there we go. Whee. Of me having just a really poor relationship with time. So I have this thought, I have these ideas that, one, I can work faster than I can. Which, that, by the way, is not unique to me. There's actually a bias. I don't remember what it's called. Let's see if I can look it up. Will you be quiet back there?
No, Mom. No, I won't be quiet. I'll make all the noise because I'm a dog. Toddler in a dog suit.
I mean, really, though. Grass. And now my brain won't work, so that's cool. This video is going to be long. It should be like done in a minute. It's not going to be. Sorry. It's going to run a little long, which I think is fair given, given how I haven't shown up on time at all this month. Like, yeah, pretty much at all. So sorry and shit. Maybe once, maybe twice. I wouldn't hold my breath about it. So, I don't know what the bias is called, because my computer hates me and it doesn't want to do the things I ask it to do. Let's see, because it's too busy trying to load a page that I didn't mean to open. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna look it up because I'm stubborn. Like an ox, which is my Chinese zodiac, by the way. Here it is. I think it is. Okay. I think I found it. Yes. Okay. And now there's like a whole bunch of other links up there on the search screen. I'm like, oh, I want to read this. I want to read that. That's my life. That is 100% my life. So, and apparently there's a couple. There's a planning fallacy. There's a, what's the other one I found? Completion bias. Okay, there's two, but there's a bunch. So apparently, let's just sidetrack for a moment. And yes, I'm citing Wikipedia, and no, I don't give a shit that it's not necessarily, you know, a legit resource. It's good enough. For the sake of argument, it's good enough. So the planning fallacy was first proposed by dude's name I'm going to mispronounce. Let's just put it out there. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky in 1979. And it is the phenomenon in which predictions about how much time will be needed to complete a future task display an optimism. So there's another one. Optimism bias and underestimate the time needed. Basically, you think you can do shit faster than you can. And this is absolutely a bias that, like, we're all pretty much subject to, and it really sucks because then it makes it really hard to plan for things because you think, oh, it's going to take me like 10 minutes, or even if you don't have a specific time in your head, you're just sure that you can get it done sooner. And for me, my personal insight into how this works for me is my brain is like, oh, this is easy. I know how to do this. Therefore, it should take less time. Which actually, here's another logical... Yeah, we're just on a roll today. Another logical fallacy, or a logical fallacy that this happens is the equivocation. Is a equivocation fallacy. And that is that things that are unrelated, like you're conflating things together that aren't actually related. So saying that because something is easy, you should be able to do it quickly. That's not accurate at all. Can it happen? Sure. But ease has nothing to do with the amount of time something takes, right? Ease just means you know how to do it. But if you know how to do something and it's got 50 steps, it's going to take longer than if it had one step, right? That's just common sense. But brains are weird, right? So there you go. But so I decided to do something a little different, and instead of migrating all of the tasks forward, just ad nauseum, and it becoming to the point where it's overwhelming as fuck. Like seriously, like I have 2 pages per day, and all of the second page into the margins, into places you're not actually meant to write, was covered. I'm thinking. Hold on. Hold one moment, please. Okay, I'm back. I decided that I would show you what I'm talking about. And this is, let's see. It is the 8th. This is from Wednesday, the 6th. This is the second page of my 2 pages per day. So just for reference, this is what the first page looks like, right? There's not too much on that page. This is the itemized side. This is the tasks. This is a little daily stuff. You know, a quick look of the month of and the following. Alright, no big deal. This is the second fucking page. Do you see all of that? All of that writing. All of that writing. Son of a bitch. No wonder I'm not getting anything done, right? I'm literally spending hours messing with this. Oops. Call the page back in. Which it makes me feel bad because, again, I think that because something is easy, I should be able to get done with like no problems, no difficulties, no hang-ups, no, oh my god, let's just move the phone around a whole bunch. Like, I should just be able to blow through it. And that is just not how shit works. It's not. One of my favorite sayings that's very true is things take the time they take, right? They just do. And you just have to accept that. You will be a lot happier and a lot more well-adjusted and less stressed if you just accept that shit is going to take the time it needs. Because I think you'll feel like less of a failure if it takes longer, because it didn't take longer. It just took the time that it needed. Just like if you need to explain something, like this is a business thing, but the sales page, the description, whatever, the copy needs to be as long as it needs to be, which is not an actual finite empirical amount. It just needs to be as long as it needs to be to do what it's supposed to do. And at that rate, all lengths of copy are right, as long as they meet that, determination and stuff and things. So yay! So I decided to get into doing a personal kanban, and it's all of the stuff that is on that list of this needs to get done, it's not done yet, is on the options, which is what they call it. And then the one that's doing is just 3 things. And I've got my 5 projects on there. And I've got my 5 projects on there, not because I'm working on all 5 of them at once, but just so that they're clearly, like, I can clearly see them. And I can decide on a given day or time period, which one I want to work on. And then the final one is you have a column for done. And it's really important to acknowledge when you finish things, right? So I've been meaning to use this system, and I decided, because I was tired of just writing all of these damn tasks down, that I was going to do it. So I gave up my morning work time, hit up the Target, got 3 little cork/foam boards to, it was a set, by the way, so I didn't buy like 3 separate ones, to put this all together, and then spent the rest of the day creating these boards based on everything I had done, and I'm very excited about it. So now what is going on is, let's see, I'll show you Thursday. Yeah. Let's see if I could just like knock my phone down. That'd be great. Oops, sorry. So this is what Thursday looks like, right? First of all, right, you notice we've got our itemized here, and this is very small. Okay, it doesn't even go off this page. And then the second page can be dedicated to what it's supposed to be, which is my to-do list, which I think this means, actually, if I keep this system up, if it works, which I think it will, I just have to do it. That's the thing with systems. They can work, but you have to use them. And I think a lot of people, the reason things don't work is because you don't work it, right? Or you don't do it in a way that works for you, or it needs tweaking or something. But this is dedicated to just all the shit that I got done. And right now I've got it at half the page, but I think I'm going to move it so that's like right at the top of the page. And I'll have more room to say, hey, look at all the shit I did today. Yes. And that'll make me feel better also. Yay. So, okay. I think we're done, like, opening this damn thing. So there's that. And then, of course, because I took all the shit out of there, keeping my planner up to date, it's been more successful because I don't have to keep migrating tons of stuff. So what I've decided is, instead of migrating things, day to day, what I will do is, when I've decided to move something from the options to the doing, I will write it down on that day. And then until the thing is done, it keeps getting written each day until it's done. And theoretically, I did decide that, if I come to the point where, like with a lot of projects where I need more time, or I need more supplies, or I need to figure out some logistics, or put something on the back burner, then it can move from the option, or from the doing to the options again. So we can move back and give myself that freedom, so that I don't have to just have something in this weird limbo stage of not done and not actually making progress forward on it, right? Because I'm waiting on something else. And then I don't have like stuff piling up in the backlog anymore. So that'll be nice. Yeah. Oh, so I talked about that. The doll crochet along and the needle felting challenge. I have not started either of them. They are both now in my planner, though, which would be that's the other part of, or maybe that's the third part of this planner setup, is I set up the entirety of November, which includes all of the prompts and all of the weekly challenge parts for the crochet along. So that's all in there, which is a big deal. The crochet along I haven't started because I'm waiting on the eyes. I decided I would do this. Didn't realize there was a theme, which is my mistake, because not reading, not paying attention, shame. Decided I was going to go wackadoodle, because I didn't know there was a theme, and get a completely different palette. Spend way too much money on it, by the way. Realized that it wasn't going to work, because it wasn't going to fit the theme. Wrestle about it mentally and emotionally and say, just return it. You can do this later. You don't need to do this right now. And then go and get new stuff. And because I got new stuff and I got it late and I had to return stuff, I had to wait till I had time to do it and everything. And then I had to go and find everything. And so that means I ordered my eyes 2 days ago, late. I should have ordered them in October. And I didn't. Shame. So that's not started yet. As soon as the eyes get here, though, I'm going to start my documentation, which is the other reason I haven't started. I have everything else I need to get started, and I could get started. But one of the things I like to do whenever I'm working on a project is I have a series of styles of pictures that I like to take. And one of them is my tool and material setup. And one, it's just a fun picture, really. So I like sharing that. But also the whole point is it's just one of the hallmarks of my style is to do weird, tool and supply collages. And so I want to be able to do that. And I want to do it once. I don't want to have everything pictured but one thing. Because that feeling of incomplete will irritate me and I will not like that. So yeah, I'm very regimented. I need to do things in a certain way. And if I can't do them in a certain way, I can't do them. And that rigidity is not helpful. It's not fun. It's not. But I can't function well otherwise. Which completely brings up some thoughts that I have that I'm not going to share. Because conjecture. Yeah, really, mostly. So, now as far as the needle tilting challenge, I know the person who's running it. This is Maggie of Star Magnolia. Magnolias? I think so. I don't know. I really wanted to join it. I did not look at the prompts. She did share them. I think ahead of time. So I gotta look at them. And I like to plan. Right? That's part of I gotta do things a certain way. And my brain is just not cooperating with the prompts. Oh, okay, well this would make sense for this. I'm just blank. And now we're 8 days in. I haven't started yet, and there's a really good chance I just won't. Which is me in challenges. I get really excited. I really want to participate. Something happens, and because I have to do things in a very specific way, shit doesn't happen. It doesn't get done. Which is just, again, right? It's really irritating and frustrating because it kind of makes me feel like a failure, constantly, which is terrible. So I already feel like shit. I don't need anybody helping me to feel worse. And I'm not saying that Maggie or anybody else is doing this. It's just that's how my brain works. The hamsters are bored and have nothing better to do, so they just want to chatter at me and just remind me of, hey, you didn't do that thing she said you were going to do, that you meant to do, that you should have done, that you could have done, but you didn't do. Why didn't you do it? Oh, because you're failing at humaning. I'm I don't need y'all's input. I really don't. Yay! Head gremlins need to be quiet. So there's that. But I might try. I don't know. There's a couple of prompts that I did glance over, and I'm oh, I could think of something to do with that. And then I kind of want everything to be uniform. So, Maggie, for example, is doing it where she's doing a giant piece and all of the pieces are going to be in like this one piece, which is really cool. So it's going to be like a mural, I guess. Me, I don't know how I want to do them. Like, I would love to do some of them three-dimensional. I think that would be super cool. But I think it would also use up a lot more bandwidth than I probably have. And so that would be my eyes are bigger than my stomach kind of moment, in which I should not engage in these things because it's going to kind of set myself up for failure. Right, so there's that. This video is going to be so much longer than I wanted it to be. I'm sorry, not sorry. We're almost done though, so there's that. Project time, as far as the Sevrine, has been sporadic. I've worked on it once or twice, so there's that. Everything else though, nope. No homework, no listening time, no client time, no blogging, no newsletter, no promotions. None of that shit has gotten done. And the newsletter is probably going to go out tomorrow. Probably late. It was supposed to go out today for Aradia's Hand, and it goes out Sunday for Janae's Divine, and I'm not going to hold my breath for it. So, what I did finish was, of course, getting my planner up to date. I've got all of November scheduled. I've got both of the creative challenges set up on there. And that also means that all of the autumn, pretty much month-wise, is set up. Yes, autumn does in fact technically run into December, but the way I try to do it is the month the season starts and the 2 months after that, those are my quarter, and I want that set up like one season ahead of time. So ideally, I should have winter already set up, which winter would go into February from December. And the reason that's not done is that planning fallacy and completion bias that we talked about earlier. I have this idea that because it's really easy to just write tasks now, that it should be quick. It's not. It's 3 months worth of tasks. It's all me handwriting it. And it's not exactly the same, every week or every day. And so there's additional thinking to make sure that I'm writing the right things on the right day and all this other stuff. That being said, I'm really excited that November is all done. That does lift some anxiety from my shoulders. That means that I can go ahead and focus on getting winter set up. And then the goal is on the day that the season starts, I need to set up the next, or sometime during that season, I need to set up the one that follows. I need to have it set up. I don't know if I'm gonna pick a certain day or if I'm just gonna do it like, okay, spring starts in March and winter starts in December, so come December I want to make sure that stuff is already like done. I don't know, we'll see, right? But I certainly don't want to be doing it at the very end of the season before it starts the next one, because that's not enough time for me to like plan ahead, which is the whole point, is to plan ahead. And this will make doing my quarterly planning and breaking things down a lot easier, because instead of flying by the seat of my pants like I have been doing all fucking year, I'll be like, oh hey, this is coming up, so these are the days I have off, these are the times I'm off, and yeah. So yeah, this video is totally longer than I wanted it to be. Shit. So that does relieve some pressure from me. And like I said, I really just want to get ahead now, like, which is where I'm supposed to be, and that ahead is actually me being on time. So yeah, if you scroll below, you'll see a picture of today in my planner, in case you were curious what it looked like. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this, at the top of the description, I'm going to have a link to send you over to Patreon. And of course, remember that all throughout November, all of these posts are public for the most part, except for like that one that I mentioned earlier that might probably not be. And that's because it's just like a sensitive issue. And I'm not down for having to do damage control with trolls and stuff. So there's that. But yeah, so I would love to hear from you in the comments below this video and description. What did you finish this week? How do you feel about it? I read all my comments. I try to reply, you know, when necessary, when relevant. And I thank you for joining me, for being part of my channel, for being a patron on Patreon, for watching this video, for sharing it, for everything. So, as always, if you like this video, if you like my Patreon, if you want to support me so that I can continue to offer content like this and do other things, and do more and do bigger and better things, you can share my Patreon. There's a link below directly to the Patreon, so you can just share that. And because this video is public, you know, feel free to share this, you know, on your social media platforms, what have you. Also, the links to both of my websites, Aradia's Hand and Danae's Divine, are in the links below, as well as all of the places on social media that I'm super active. Which is, I say that specifically, there's other places on social media that I'm active. Like, I'm becoming active on YouTube. I have, so active Pinterest. But the places I really focus are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And Instagram's like fucking holding it down, really. Because I love me some Instagram. It's so fun. There's so many pictures. And it's really easy to get sick into Instagram really quickly. Oops and shit. So, yeah. That's it. Thank you for hanging out with me. And as we like to say, bon appetit, mes amis. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is... We're going to do an Interscope. Oh, this is going to be a big one. It's going to be a big fucking deal. So, as a reward for having watched this far, we're going to talk about a private practice that is something that's part of my business and how I do businesses, how I do things, and it is my sacred creation process. So I'm going to run through the whole setup and everything, so in case you were curious as to everything outside of these specific medium only art making, what else goes into the process. I will be sharing that tomorrow, and I'm going to be giving out a more parsed down version of it. It has all of the basic steps that I do. It's some of the things that are very specific to my personal practice have been removed, because if it's not part of your practice, it's irrelevant. But as far as the overarching step in which that thing was included is there, and I, you know, will go into each of those things and, you know, talk about why and how and everything like that. So that is going to be a big fucking deal, because I put a lot of thought and a lot of energy into it. Yeah. So thank you again, and I will see y'all hopefully bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow.